Good evening to one and all present here. As my introduction is already said, so neither to for me to explain more about it. First of all, I would thank TEDxPortBlair for offering us such a beautiful platform to share our stories. And this time of 10 or 15 minutes, which I would be taking, will be my story. I would like to start by saying, by remembering Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. As he said, if you want to shine like sun, it's important for you to burn like one. Today I'll be talking about, as you can see, integration of technology in agriculture and the importance of sustainable food production in our islands. So what inspired me to take up farming? Farming was not completely my cup of tea until I realized that this is the only thing which connects humans across the globe. We require food for our growth, our sustainability. So, during COVID was the time when I started thinking, what can I do for this place? What has this place given to me? And isn't it my duty to give something back to it? That's when the thought of farming came across in my head. But as we all know, the traditional process of farming is too tedious, it is full of manual labor, and it requires a lot of capital. But that was not which I was focusing on. I was focusing technically on developing something which I could do right in my backyard. For that matter of fact, anybody could do right in their backyard. So that's when I came across the fancy terms called as aquaculture, hydroponics, and also recirculatory aquaculture, which is a part of aquaculture. So these terms were very complex. These terms were very complex and very fancy when I first heard them. But these technologies were being used in the global world for sustainable production of food. But the question again arises in my head, if I just copy what is available already with the world and I just put it in our islands, will that work? That question helped me to go and dive deep inside the thought of developing something which was specially formulated for these islands. Because we stay in such a place where everything is difficult. We have our own set of challenges rather than being in the mainland where we say everything is in our reach. But here it's not the same case. So that's when I went all down inside and designed my own REO system. So we started by designing the structure of the system. So this system basically consists of many technical terms which I won't be going deep into. But if you can see the slide before, you have a number of technology. You have a fish tank, you have a sediment tank, you have a secondary filtration, biofiltration, and so many things. So this basically does what? This basically does help us to produce fish and plants in a symbiotic relationship. So what we do is we basically take amount of water, let's say a tank full of water, let it be a 1,000 liter tank or a 2,000 liter tank, and then we use this water throughout the cycle of the production. We do not change water at any point of time. The only thing we do is we add fresh water or brackish water or the salt water as and when required. That's due to evaporative losses. Now, moving forward, this was the first setup which I developed at my backyard. This was just a basic setup with a tank, with a filter, with a sediment tank, and a UV filter. That's all. So basically, this might look very naive to you because this is actually actual replica of what an actual recirculatory aquaculture system looks like. Moving on. I further developed the prototype into an industrially scalable model, which you can see here. This is nothing but the pictorial representation of what I showed you before. Now, growing fish in a tank is not that fancy, anybody can do it because we have been doing that since ages in our own aquariums. But using the water to grow vegetable is something new. So that's when, with the wastewater which we were using for the fish, with the water which was used by the fish, was used to grow vegetables. As you can see in the slides, we were able to grow vegetables just by using the water. So this system was designed by using what was available in Port Blair or what was available in our islands. There was no importance or no dependency of mainline to buy or procure any sort of new equipment or fancy equipment for this product, this setup to run. However, this setup has a very big dependency of the grid, that is the power supply. But due to power issues, we have kept this on a hold and waiting for the right opportunity and the right investor to scale it up. This product has been tested for, this setup has been tested for 2 years under various load conditions, and we got excellent results. And because of the power issue, we have kept this project on hold, and as I said, we are looking forward to scale it up. Moving on, this was just one part of my curiosity. I was also curious on finding out what happens with the poultry industry. Because we all know, like we say, if it is a Sunday, what would we have? Generally, it would be a chicken or a mutton or any sort of meat which we take in the market. So I was very much interested in knowing how the poultry industry works. And I somewhere wanted to develop something which would help the poultry industry as well. That's when I came across sustainable farming methods. So basically, when we talk about the poultry industry, we have a set of predefined problems which have been followed through centuries. The first problem would be cramped spaces of the birds which are being reared, and we have hygiene issues. We have issues of over antibiotic use. We also have the issues of using of fumigation chemicals in the farm. And the fourth most important reason of poultry farming that pulls many farmers away from this industry is the cost of feed. That takes the chunk of volume of the produce. So these set of problems, with keeping these set of problems, I dived deep inside and formulated my farm around these set of problems. So around that time, I started my first farm in Barmanala. That was in my uncle's property, which I'm very grateful for him to lend me. So I started that by designing a structure for around 3,000 birds. So we started by a volume size of only 3,000. We didn't have a very huge volume size in our mind because we didn't know what was yet to come. So we started by this volume by 3,000 because the farm which we had was designed for only 3,000 birds across, which also was divided into two zones, that is a breeder and a brooder zone. I can show you here. So this was the farm which we designed. This is the first farm in the islands which is 100% zero discharge free. This has no sawdust, and we only feed green. These birds are only fed with green feed. I'll explain you in depth about how we do that. So the farm is divided, as I said, the farm is divided into two zones. That is the brooder zone and the grower zone. So the brooder zone is the only place where we require the sawdust. That is mandatory. And also we require heating equipment, as these birds don't grow without proper heat and light. So sawdust provides them with ample amount of heat, and light also helps them to grow well because of the heat. So for 3 weeks, the chicks which we get from the market, we rear them in this environment and we let them to go around and play around in the open as well. Because you can see there, our farms are fully fenced. So these chicks are allowed to go around and play in the farms, and by the end of 3 weeks, these birds are shifted into their respective grower zones. Now we only concentrate on growing the desi birds. That is, to be precise, we only grow the Nicobari birds as well as the Vanraj birds. We do not concentrate on the poultry market because this market is already stagnated, right? Now, we have an advantage of these birds over the poultry, regular broiler birds. That's what is, because when these birds grow, they tend to fly at a very young age. Broilers generally don't fly throughout the cycle, but these birds tend to fly at a very young age. So taking to this our advantage, what we did is we designed resting zones in the farm. We designed resting zones in the farm for the birds to sit and relax. Hence, removing the dependency of sawdust inside the farm completely. Now, every day morning, these birds are allowed to go out, enjoy their day, absorb some sunlight, and have some stones. Now, why, you might be astonished that why, I'm saying about stones. So, stones help as a grinding agent for the bird's digestion. So, without the stones, the birds won't be able to digest their food completely. So, that's when rearing them out in the free helps them to take and digest the food which we provide to them. Right? Now, okay, so moving on. So when the birds are let out and they're, by evening 6 or so, they're let in also. So during the time when the birds are let free out in the free range area, the staff at our farm cleans the farm completely. As you can see, there is no use of sawdust in the grower zone. So our farm is completely cleaned by the day. So it takes around 30 minutes for us to clean the farm with water and broom when and where required. So the farm is completely clean and appropriately it is being disinfected as well. So when the birds enter back in the evening hours, the farm is completely clean and fresh as it was on the day one. Now, so the problem of hygiene we were able to solve. We were able to solve by cleaning the farm properly, and also we were able to solve because there is no use of sawdust. So when there is no sawdust, there is no question of bad smell or bad odor from the farm. So the first problem of hygiene, the major problem of hygiene was solved. Now the second most important problem in the farming industry, in the poultry industry, is the problem of feed. Yes, feed is easily available in the market. That's like, we can go and buy feed easily in the market. It's not that, crazy thing to buy feed. But the thing is, these feeds are expensive to buy. And when we consider a volume size of 3,000, it becomes very expensive. It becomes an expensive affair because these birds need to grow around 1 to 1.5 kgs for them to be sellable. So to rear these birds till the volume size of 1 to 1.5 kgs, it takes a lot of capital. And it is a very capital intensive, and also we are very much dependent on, we have no control on what kind of feed are we feeding the birds. Although because they write so many things on the rear of a feed saying that this has 50% of manure, this has 50%, this, that, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. But that's when I came across a crop of duckweed named Azolla. Now the beauty of this crop is, that this crop has a protein content of 25 to 30%. which is highest in any plant form. Also, it has a very dense metal content of 10 to 15%. This was a game changer for our farm. What we did was we started with the grower beds. As you can see, these beds, we had 10 of them. And the advantage of this, beauty of this azolla is, we could use the poultry litter or cow dung as a nutrient mix for them to grow. They are very fast growing crop. Down the time, within a couple of days, we were able to harvest around 25 kgs of feed in a single day. And this was on a cyclic basis. So we were able to feed our poultry birds with azolla, that is 100% green fed, and also occasionally we used to mix napier grass, which is also a common fodder crop. Also with that, sometimes we used to add fish as a supplement, because fish contains many of the amino acids which plants don't contain. So by doing all this, it gave us an added advantage of making our birds very immune to diseases. I'll not say it was a 100% immune bird, that's not a correct word to say, but it helped us to evade a lot of common diseases. Also, because the dependency of feed was reduced to almost 80%, the cost also naturally reduced. And we had a full control on the feed which we provided to our birds. Now this helped us in changing the dynamics of how a poultry farm works. Because we had conquered the problem of hygiene, first problem, major problem, and the second problem of cost of feed and the quality of feed. We were able to do that. Now as you can see, we sitting there and feeding azolla to these birds. So basically these birds love azolla as a dietary input. Right. Moving on. It was 7 months of hard work till we came to this point. It was 7 months of hard work, sleepless nights. It has been a tough journey. But unless and until we get a validation from the market, there is no point of me doing so much of hard work. So what could be better than a Sunday market, the famous Sunday market of Chandigarh? What would be better than that? So we did brand our produce. We wanted an unbiased feedback from the customer. We went by selling for 2 to 3 weeks, and we waited for the response. And I'm grateful, that would be the correct word, grateful to the Almighty, if I can say, that we were sold out within the first month itself. Because we didn't market our produce. The customers did it for us. That was the result of our hard work, which we rigorously spent for 7 to 8 months. So this is actually the time that we feed our birds, you know. That's how I used to be in the farm, morning to evening. Alright, moving on. We are planning a terminal expansion in North and Middle regions, as we are committed to develop Tier 2 cities of Andaman Islands. We are soon planning a very big farm in the Middle Andaman region of our place, and we are also keenly focusing on providing good employment opportunities for people who are already staying there, especially for the youth to stay there. Also, this journey of me standing on this dais has not been an easy one, because I started as a single person, and today also as a single person, because I'm the only sole person in the company. It has been a tough journey for me, but my family and friends have always been a strong critic, a very strong one, and they always have been strong supporters of what I was passionate about. And I'm really thankful to them. And I always will be thankful to them. The family members and the friends, what they helped me was to strengthen my roots, and they nurtured me with the correct amount of nutrients for my root to find the correct root. That was very important for me because a person like me, it is a person in general, it is very easy to get diverted from what we want to do. But they helped me, and I will be always grateful to them. Also, moving on, I would like to now conclude the speech by saying a quote by Mr. Jack Ma, the famous Mr. Jack Ma. As you can see there, today is hard, tomorrow might be harder, but day after tomorrow, definitely the sun will shine. Never give up, no matter what. Find your passion, and once you find it, don't let it go like that. Live your life with what you always wanted to live. It will be difficult. And trust me, I'm saying this with all of my experience. It will be super difficult, but enjoy the process. Enjoy the process and keep moving, no matter what. On finishing, as the theme of TEDx, I would like to end this by saying a quote which might keep you busy for the rest of the time, would be, if your roots are strong and deep enough, then why worry the wind? I've changed it, but yes, it's my side of the quote. Thank you so much.